Greetings everyone, welcome to my sketchbook. In the last video I did a drawing, which I spent a little bit of time doing it, of the mascot of the 2026 Olympics, Tina the Stout. It's kind of interesting, but during that video I actually talked about my favorite car. So it was also built in Italy. This is the DeTomaso Pantera. Pretty interesting machine. I'll ramble on a little bit quick about it, although it doesn't really matter in the great scheme of things. But anyway, if you can imagine, some people kind of referred to these as a mid-engine Mustang in an Italian suit. And yeah, if you can imagine, this vehicle has a 351 Cleveland stuffed, and they call it mid-engine because it's actually between the driver and the rear wheel of the vehicle. So the engine is like right about here. Transmission would be like right about there. Anyway, a Ford engine inside an Italian-built car. Ford has a funny reputation, I suppose, with a lot of the things that it does, but they build remarkable machines. And so, how cool is that? To go along with that, though, I mean, I do have other dinky cars, and I should also say this, though. I mean, I do have a funny collection of them, but I also give away hundreds of these things. These are like some of my personal favorite types of things to just hold on to for me. Look at that. This one even says 351, for the engine that was in there, size-wise. And of course, there's even this, which was produced as part of the Fast and Furious series. Interesting car. This one doesn't have the same sort of fenders as these ones here. So if you see close enough here, these are the larger sort of flares that you would have had. Like these would have been, let's say, steel, where you could weld them or rivet them on, or you could also get fiberglass versions of that for the Group 4. This one here says it's Group 4, but it doesn't have those fender flares. Anyway, so this is my favorite car. I thought for fun, I would draw this vehicle just to see what would happen. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see, because it's going to be interesting. Which one am I going to choose? I'm going to choose maybe this one, just for fun. Or how about this one? Well, let's try maybe a version of this. And I think what I'm going to pick is probably one of the best views of one of the most aggressive cars ever made. I think a 3/4 view of this car is probably one of the most sinister vehicles on the road. And the only way really you get to see this sort of view is if it's parked or it's blowing by you on the highway. I mean, you could look at it this way for a moment, I suppose. But this was a remarkable machine. So let's see what I can kind of come up with this. All right. So my view is going to be a little bit different than, what you see with the camera. You're going to see probably a little more of the roof than me. All right. So hopefully that'll stay kind of focused. And if not, I'll try to adjust that after. All right. So this is just going to be a sketch. If it's going to be messy, that's okay. And it's going to do it kind of quick. Then maybe I'll add some detail after the fact. So Now, sketching is one of those things that I enjoy doing. If you get sort of a limited amount of time to, look at something, you can get a bit of detail, uh, and not a perfect amount of detail. You don't need to have all the perfect detail with a sketch. The object is sort of get that shape, if at all possible. Now, let's see what I got going on here. I want that fender flare. Kind of interesting. Like, imagine you go to a museum, you're sitting down, you're looking at all the cool works of art, and you're told, oh, it's about to close. I think that's a fun way to look at sketching. Like, you got a limited amount of time, you want to try to figure out a couple of things. Move this over a little bit. So you want to capture some part of it so that when you revisit it a little later on, you can say, okay, this is what I wanted. So I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I admit it's not really my thing. There's something about getting a group of people together, I suppose, for like, eating chili and giggling and laughing, I suppose. That seems like it would be awesome. But yeah, no, not my thing at all. So now, I'm not going to let this go on too long. Just sort of, letting you dance through my process of how I do stuff. A little information on the car itself, though. It was designed by Tom Tjaarda, who's an American, for Alejandro DeTomaso, who was an Argentinian-born race car driver, and then later on a car builder. For some reason, I think Alejandro had this thing floating around in his head that perhaps he and Carroll Shelby had some sort of like rivalry or competition. There really wasn't between the two men, just sort of different sort of ambition, I suppose. Carroll Shelby was kind of a brash individual, but also at the same time just like a remarkable mover and shaker in the world of race car driving. The back of this car also features something kind of funny. So if you look up a vehicle called the Bricklin, which was made in Canada in the 1970s as well, these taillights are also on the Bricklin. And so one of the story goes was that, Malcolm Bricklin had investors visit the plant where these things were being built, the car didn't have like taillights. So he ran out to his own car, which turned out to be one of these things, and pulled. It was either his car or somebody else's car. But yeah, he pulled the taillights off to put on his car, and of course they got parts from Ford after anyway. They also used 351 in their cars as well. So kind of neat. I'm going to do a quick little outline of this, and that'll be it. So really, this was just a doodle, a sketch, and that was it. Don't need to go any further than that. Goodyear Arriva tires. Just so happens that this vehicle as well was imported to Lincoln Mercury dealerships up until about the summer of 1974, and then that deal kind of came to an end. So kind of too bad, but they continued to build this car actually for quite some time. Right now I'm just adding in a little bit of the detail stuff that I think should be there, and then that will be it. Where are we at time wise? Okay. So yeah, the Super Bowl. No, did not watch it. But congratulations to Seattle, I guess. So when I woke up this morning, it was like, oh, well, the Super Bowl's over, and there you go. And we shall call this the 1974 DeTomaso Pantera. Ooh, that's looked like an A. And for fun, we could say the last of the Ford Motor Company imports. That's it, folks. I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, all the best for the week, and come back again. We'll draw something else kind of silly and fun, and should be interesting. All right, ciao for now.